Alright, I'm making a little video here. Anyway, I've got this thing here I glued together, and it limits my travel. See, I can only go to right there, and then it hits the thing. So I ordered a piece from Japan, and here it is here. Yeah, it's got flex joints in it, but it's huge. Now you can get an idea of the size of this thing. I don't even know what I'm going to do. Let me get it back and take a look at it. Alright. Wow. To give you an idea, I'll just try to sort of lay it on top here. It's awfully big. I don't know if I can get this. You know, that's quite a bit bigger than the other one. Even if I cut it down, I could cut the length down. I still have this big piece, and I could cut this big piece in two in the middle and take some out that way too. Like it looks like it's solid, so I could put this in a lathe. Let's just do that and see what happens. Well, that's as far as it'll go in my chuck. So looks like I probably need to cut it in half and then cut these joints down, but they're nice and tight comparatively. You can see there's a lot of movement in these down here, and this one has some movement in it, but I think I can tighten it up too. Anyway, first thing to do is just cut it in half, I guess. Well, I got it taped up so it's not flopping around, and I'm just cutting this thing. It's going pretty good. I've got my cutoff tool extended a long ways there because of the way I had to get to these aluminum bolts. It should be closer, but on slow speed in back gears, it's cutting pretty good. I could probably speed it up a little bit. Here it's a little faster. Yeah, you hear that clack, 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 clack. That's a broken tooth in my gears. But it's cutting pretty good. Got a little oil on it. On this, I'm just feeding it in by hand. You can see it's not going very fast. I'm just keeping kind of a nice long chip coming off of it. Probably get the light over there where you can see it a little better. That's all I do. I just keep going until I get it cut off, and then I can cut the ends off. Try to shorten this thing up as much as I can. I'll worry about how to hook it up together later. And when we get back to it, I need to actually do this with both hands so I can keep the oil on it. Alright, it cut off there. It looks pretty decent. There's the piece that came off here. It's a little hot. Now I can flip it around and cut off the long end on this one. Well, I was afraid of that. It's holding on the big one there, but this one's still moving around. I'll have to wrap it with some little pieces of aluminum or something to hold it tight. Alright, I just put 3 pieces of aluminum in there. Holding, it's got a set screw right here that I'm going to try. I just had an idea just to see how much I can cut it off right here about or I was thinking more of cutting it in the middle, but anyway, I'll see if I can keep the set screw. Maybe if I do it perfectly well on the shaft, maybe the set screw will fit in the pinhole or something. I don't know. I just need to shorten it down because I'm already running into this. It's limiting my travel. When I've got a small chuck on here, I can't get within a couple inches. See, when I got a little chuck like this, no, this is like this wide, the whole thing, and this one's quite a bit more. So I've limited my travel, but I do have a gearbox. Anyway, I'm gonna just cut this off here and see what it looks like, see how much trouble it is. Well, it turned out to be, I was really close to being right on center, so looks like it's cutting really good, and I'm still away from my screw. I can see it wiggling around a little there because it's extended so far. But whether or not this is straight really don't make that much difference. I probably should shorten my blade up here. I'm going to do that. It's extended so far out there that it's wiggling around, so all I got to do is loosen this up and then just drive it in. See, I'm getting closer, and I need to have enough to go through the edge. That looks like it's plenty. Then I just tighten this back up again here, and I've made my tool much shorter. That'll cut straighter as well. Good enough. Cutting enough to kick it off the belt. Well, it's coming off. Nice, slow, even cut. Nice and steady, and it should be about cut off here by now. It's not all the way through. I put that tail piece in it there to, as long as I don't run into it here. I think I got a little room. I might have knocked the blade in too far. We'll see. Anyway, should be about cut off here in a second. I'm just running a boring head in it right now. I can speed it up quite a bit. Just to make sure that it's all straight and true to something. Anyway, I'm going to pull this back about 5 thousandths. Try it again. taking 10 thousandths off the total. Now it's hitting that screw. I forgot to take the screw out. I guess I should do that. Alright, I bored it. Checking this. This thing says 640. I need 3/4. I need 760. Yeah, I've gotta bore this quite a ways. Yeah, this is 745. And this is 750. Hundred thousandths or something to take out of it. It'll take a while to whittle it out. Alright, I'm going to dial in another 10 here for feet. That's 10 thousandths per side. I can hear it cutting away in there pretty good. I'm just taking it up to about the end of the, right about there. I'm going to take another pass in the same place without adding any more feed, because I've got that bit is extended out there quite a ways and it's not being held real tight. That's good enough. Back it out. Put another, I'll put 15 in it this time. See what happens. I might have that insert a little low, but it's still cutting pretty good. So we'll just keep going until we get to 3/4. Well, I drilled exactly a 3/4 inch hole, and I got a 3/4 inch shaft, so of course they won't go together. So I need to just take a couple thousandths out of that thing real slow and clean it up so that the shaft will go into it. That'd be the same as this shaft down here. So that's what I'll do, is make another pass. Now there's what this big old shaft looks like. That's approximately where it'll go. The other half of it, I don't know where I got it laying around here somewhere. It's just like that one. I'll have to cut it as short as possible and drill and pin it just like I've got it here. This one was cut in the middle, but it looks like I need to cut you know, about halfway in the middle of that. Take about 1/4 of an inch out of both of them. I'll measure it and see how much more I could have cut out. I'm not sure. I'll probably make my travel less because that's bigger. But now these things are bored very accurately, so there won't be any slop in them. So it should be much better for threading. Well, here's the final pass, boring this one out. I got it on slow speed. I just ran it in, and now I'm just backing it out to give it a nice even finish. But should be real nice size. It's probably about 5 thousandths over. 750 thousandths. Yeah, it's a little looser than I'd like, but it's still pretty good. Little flex won't hurt it too much. Yeah, another day here. I'm gonna try to modify this thing. I'm gonna cut this one here on the right down as much as I can, and try to shorten up this this joint, and then get it installed on this lathe and see what happens. Well, I got it cut off. I didn't take much, about 1/4 of an inch. I've got this problem of not really a problem, but I don't have a lot of room here to put a pin in, and I want to make sure that it's strong and gives me a little bit of hold on the shaft. Next thing is to start drilling it and pinning the shaft, and cut the shaft off that's going to go between the two parts, and get that to the right length. And I'm trying to do something here. This is a knurling setup. That's feeding too slow. Let's get a little faster feed. What this is going to do is chew up the surface of this a little bit. Put some grooves on it, and hopefully make this bar just a little bit bigger. That way I can sort of force it into the joint, and it'll hold it tight while I drill the holes in it. Need to set this knurler up a little bit. It doesn't look like it's doing too good a job. Alright, I got that knurled, and it made the stuff fit a little tighter. Good enough. It's holding it a little bit, and the other one it holds real good, but this one I just bored a little bit too big, so I'll go ahead and cut it off and put a little taper on it so I can get them started, and then I can just pound them together and then drill them. Well, here we go. A lot of work, but I got this thing pinned now. Now clean it up a little and see what it looks like. Well, there we go. It's a little longer than the other one. Looks like I'm going to have to cut off a couple threads, and maybe 3 there. One thing I didn't check is how much room I got between that and the wall of the bed. I think I'll have plenty of room. Once it's down, it looks like it's about right. And looks like it'll barely clear. So I might have to chuck that up and turn it down a little bit, but it should be some improvement over this thing here. You know, I've got 1/8 of a turn in there. That's acceptable for threading, but I would rather have not as much slack. Well, I checked this thing up here in the lathe. I'm just going to turn this middle section down. I got a 1/4 of an inch. I can take about half of that off. This will give me a little more room right here. Don't seem like much, but any little bit will help as far as everything going. I'm just taking off 10 thousandths at a time here. Got kind of an interrupted cut where I put the pins in it, but basically it's cutting pretty good. I'll make a few passes across here, just make this a little bit smaller, and the best I can to make it as small as I can. See what it looks like then. Well, I got it pretty much cut down. All I'm doing now is just using a regular old file here. I'm just kind of smoothing out this piece in the middle. I trimmed it down a little. It'll give me some room right here on this thing. This one, if you see, it's you can see that, but it's about a 1/4 of an inch or so. Hopefully this one will be much better. Yeah, I got everything all chucked up here. This is 30 thousandths in from the edge. Sure that this is in here nice and straight on these parallels. That looks pretty good. So I could at least get the hole started to be bored right. I did it by hand on the shaft, so there's a few degrees angle off, so I'm just going to put one pin in it with a tighter shaft. Of course, I'll bore it all the way through first, but for right now I just need to get a good starter hole, and that's it on that one. Well, there's a finished product. I'm going to go ahead and punch out the PIDs in this thing and pull my tailstock out, and then we'll see how much I need to cut off of this one, and cut that, and need to drill one more hole into the, or no, I actually got a screw for it. So I just got to take this off, figure out how much I need to cut off that shaft, and just bolt it on. I should be ready to go. Alright, I got one hole set up here, and it almost looks like I could put this thing on and it'll work as it is, but I'm just going to cut off these two boogered holes here where I tried to drill this before, and then I'll just cut off a couple threads on it with my cutoff tool and just clean it up, and that way I won't have to worry about it. Well, there it is, running at pretty high speed. You can see it hits right here. I thought the edge of the box would be hitting, but I think it's hitting right here on this piece here. And you can see by the grease up here, it's about a ½ an inch longer than the other one, but much smoother. it's pulling nice and even, not a lot of jerking or anything. And forward speed, I still feel a little jerking in it. I might have bent that lead screw when I was messing around with it. I know I hung it up one point, but I'll just have to work out something here so I can get up to the chuck. Just have to learn to work around that ½ inch I lost. I'm just checking out the fine feed here. This is my next to my lowest gear. We'll do it once more. I'm gonna shift it into low. Now it's the lowest gear. So I can see a little bit of bounce in it, but that's not the screw's fault. I can feel it a little bit here. Well, I'm going to go up here to a little bigger spot. Let's try this one. It's probably about 10,000, 5,000. It's cleaning it up pretty nice. Looks like I'm getting pretty close to, got about a ½ inch here. I'm going to try turning this one just to see where I hit my, where it bottoms out down here. Keeping an eye on that. But I want to try to do it just to see what happens when I do hit it. Alright, okay. It just locks up the lathe and kicks off the belt. And of course this is now locked because it's in gear. I have to turn it backwards to free it up. Yeah, now I can get it out of here. It's hitting right here somewhere. But anyway, looks like I'm an inch out of my jaws with a straight in setup. Of course I can alter stuff, and I'm all the way back on this. If I back this out and run this one in, let's take it all the way out. So that's now see, I'm interfering with the jaw. So by fooling around with my carriage, I can actually overcome this to a large degree. But anyway, there's my whole project, gearbox, a decent U-joint. I might be able to cut this one down a little bit more here, but I think for the keeping it stable, I'm going to leave it alone. Good enough for now. The lathe will do what I want it, and should make real nice threads. Now I'll try a 1 thread piece.